Hey Joe, how you doing, baby?
Oh, Ken, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Oh,
You're the one that's been sick. You
oh, mate,
tell
I
us about it.
know,
What
I know.
happened?
Listen, everybody, guys, this is mad.
Go on.
I have almost certainly had coronavirus in the
Mm.
last week. And the reason I know that is because basically, actually, the day we released the podcast, not last week, but the week before,
Yeah.
I went to a family get together.
Mm.
Really nice. We were all meeting up just to see my sister because she was going back to Australia where she works as a doctor.
Yeah.
Anyway, a couple of days later, all of us got really, really sick. Um, and then my sister flew back to Australia. I mean, she actually flew back before she got ill. But anyway, she got ill in Australia, and then they tested her for coronavirus, and she came out positive,
Oh my
which
God.
means like me and all my family have basically pretty much had it already.
My goodness. And you were literally on your deathbed, weren't
Mate.
you?
Oh, I wasn't too bad, to be honest.
You're not
but,
too bad.
My gran was really bad though, but she's pretty much, well, she's not fully better yet, but she's
Getting
getting
there.
a lot better.
Oh, good, man.
So yeah.
Wow. Well, you could say you had
Yeah.
the coronavirus. I'm not surprised because I was ill twice in. I remember if you remember at the start of the year, maybe January or February. Can't remember if it was January or February, but I was ill twice, like in the space of like a few weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe I had it as well. I don't know. You just don't know.
Maybe, mate, maybe.
You just don't know. Because I
I mean,
feel-
I kind of hope so for you, so then you're like immune, aren't you?
exactly. So because I feel fine since you and Dan have been ill
Yeah.
and stuff. I've been fine. But man, look, we said last week it was going to be another mad week, and bro, I don't
Oh,
even know.
mate.
I haven't even I literally still on like times 100 right now. I don't even know where to start, mate. You take the lead. Where do we start?
Yeah.
Dude, where do we start?
I mean, I guess we could talk about some of the moves we've seen. Like basically, dollar was just on a ridiculous rally all week,
A mad
and that
one.
was pretty much just like investor panic, wasn't it? I mean, we did a couple of videos on this.
Oh, dude, it was insane. It's just huge flight into safe haven. And obviously, we've been saying the same thing over and over again. At the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat right now, right? Everyone is like across
Yeah.
Europe, cases are rising. Asia, still fairly high. And obviously all central banks are acting. We'll do that in a moment anyway. But everyone's in the same boat. So where do you put your money? Obviously, US at the end of the day. US, the most liquid currency in the world. Everyone does business in dollars. So you want to put your money in the number one economy in the world, right? But at the end of the day, in the US, it's still well within its infancy in terms of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Things could get really bad there.
I know.
Really bad still.
Mate, they're getting so bad. But I think the thing is, it doesn't. For the dollar now, it almost doesn't even matter how bad things get in the US because they're going to get just as bad in Europe and probably other places as well. And I think the thinking is that like if the global like monetary system as we know it comes to an end, the dollar theoretically should be the last pillar to fall, if you know what I mean, because it's the most widely used currency and all that kind of stuff, which makes it the ultimate safe haven, as we've seen.
Indeed, yeah, we've seen a clear example of that. Man, it rocketed. If you look at the Dixie, and we're calling this at 103, like big moves there. Obviously, we've called a little bit today. You did quite a decent. Well, today is in Friday. If you just so a couple of days ago, if you're just watching this now, you did quite a good blog on this. At the end of the day, it's just the market's been flooded by the FOMC with a lot of dollars, right?
Oh yeah. So in terms of why we've seen it soften a little bit today, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, this dollar rally had everybody worried, especially in all the major central banks. So it looks like the Fed have come to an agreement with the likes of the RBA, the RBNZ, all the major central banks in other countries pretty much, and they created this like arrangement, these dollar currency swaps, where they effectively they sell dollars, so that increases the supply of dollars, put dollars under pressure, in exchange for buying all these other currencies to try and prop them up a little bit. And it looks like it's worked fairly well for now. So I guess we'll see next week.
Exactly, we will see. I mean, it's certainly, to be honest, do you know what though, Joel? I can't see it losing too. I'm just bringing up the chart now. I mean, I can't see it losing too much ground. To be honest with you, it's on a mission, dude. And I'm pulling up the daily. Daily's still pretty bullish. The weekly chart, man, we can go and challenge some serious heights here. I think right now we printed the highest level seen since around January 2017. There's nothing stopping us from going into, if we look at the Dixie, 105, which would be the highest since 2003, my dude. 2003.
Wow.
That's the next zone I'm looking at. And it has every capability to do so. Because
I agree.
obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, as you've just briefed us on, the FOMC taking all this action, but every other central bank's taking a lot of action as well. So everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same boat right now. So back dollars, basically, back dollars, buy on the dips.
Agreed.
Well, obviously, while we've been talking about central banks, what have we seen in terms of action?
Oh, we've seen, the big ones that stand out to me this week, the ECB.
Oh, huge.
They finally, massive QE program. They effectively capitulated because last week, we talked about it in the podcast last week, but ECB meeting was so disappointing, wasn't it? Like, they didn't even cut rates. QE was paltry. And markets were just really concerned that they weren't doing enough, and we were seeing some stress in the bond markets in Europe as well. Italian bonds under pressure, Greek bonds under pressure, and then I think that has basically slapped the ECB into waking up, and now we have this massive 750 billion QE program.
Bazooka. They've gone in.
Bazooka.
You got to think as well. They hadn't done anything for a little while, and it's not like they were in any position to just sit on their hands, but it's just the fact that before Draghi left, Super Mario Draghi, he went guns blazing, didn't he, with everything. So it just left them in a position like, what more can we do? But then they pulled their fingers out of their bums. Excuse the sort of that saying, but it's true. And they've
it's true, mate. They definitely have.
And they've gone hard as a mofo with this action. So Euro. Further downside still being eyed. Like I did say last week, and look, I hold my hands up. I did say last week that euro dollar has a right to take flights, some serious flights, just because of the monetary policy divergence between the two was narrowing. But now where ECB have gone guns blazing, euro dollars is coming down now. 105, I think we're looking at for next week here. It's some real capabilities from downside here. Yeah.
Agreed. And especially if what you were saying how you're so bullish on the dollar, it just looks like it's building and building and building. That's going to take a chunk out of euro if that does happen. So Indeed, I completely agree.
Indeed, my dudes. Next, what we should go on to? Oil market, man. Right now, it's down 15% today, bro. We had a little bit of a pullback, but that pullback's been sold again. They're still in trouble. The oil market it's a dying market right now, literally dying.
It is. Honestly, I read a Bloomberg article yesterday that was talking about how negative oil prices might be in the realm of possibility.
What?
Which seems incredible, to be paid to consume oil. I know. But can you imagine that? Mate, the Saudis and the Russians...
That's insane.
I know. I mean, I imagine that would only be because the Saudis and the Russians would amp up their sort of price war to such an extent that they're literally paying people to take their oil, not the other person's oil.
I could see that happening, to be honest. I could see it.
I know, you can see anything happening in this climate.
Right now, anything could happen, exactly. And in terms, if we bring this back to the FX markets, a victim of this has been CAD. CAD was hit pretty hard. Obviously dollar bulls have been on a mission, but, dollar CAD jumped, if you look, it jumped as high as 140... Almost 147 this week, dude. Almost 147.
Wow.
It's so close.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, these are the highest levels that we've seen. If I'm just bringing up Looney now, these are the highest levels that we've seen since 2016. Pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, I know we don't usually cover the Norwegian krone NOK as much, but NOK was even worse this week. NOK almost had it was almost like one of those emerging market currencies. It just completely lost it this week.
We had action from their
central bank, that's partly on oil.
Oh, that, and they acted as well, the Norwegian central bank, didn't they, this week?
Oh, they did, but they more acted to try and prop up the NOK.
Really?
They said that they'd be willing to intervene to buy NOK to stop it falling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's an interesting one.
What else have we had? Oh, God, I've literally this week has felt just like one day. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah, I know, mate. Especially as I felt like I've been on my deathbed for half of the week, so my mind was kind of like,
oh mate, bless you.
Mate. Poor Dan as well.
I know. I don't think he had it as bad as you, but he certainly felt something for sure. So it's better that you guys just stay away from here. Jamie and I have just been soldiering on here in the office. We've been fine. We've been fine, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, anything sort of, I don't know, because obviously you do the weekly, but anything that we're looking out for specifically next week?
There's a couple of interesting data points because we're going to start getting some of the first ones that really show the effect of coronavirus. So I'm just looking now. We've got Eurozone PMIs, flash PMIs for March.
Big.
Those
We saw signs
big.
last month of strengths in the supply chain, didn't we? Signs.
Yeah.
So this month,
but
oh my
people
goodness!
are now expecting a big drop.
I'm looking at the expectations here, like 40. Man,
I know.
Euro's going to be in some bloodshed next week. Blood.
I know. Mate, I actually think it's going to be worse than 40. I think it might be as bad. Do you remember those Chinese PMIs that were like 27?
Man, that was scary. That was
Yeah, I know.
scary.
That's kind of what I'm expecting, though.
I mean, we could see the same thing here in Europe. No, you're right. You're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
that'd
then,
be interesting.
This data we don't usually cover as much, but I have just been mentioning it in the rundowns today. But initial jobless claims data in the US, it comes out every single week.
It's a weekly
and
number, yeah.
in times like this, when there's a massive recession coming on really hard and really fast, that can be a much better indicator for the US jobs market than something like NFP can. So in the next couple of weeks, initial jobless claims data, it's going to be like having NFP every single week.
Man,
I think
that's insane. Dude. That's insane.
It's insane.
So the dollar could be in some real roller coaster movements next week, basically, from next week.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see how it affects the dollar, though. Like, is the dollar going to be seen as a haven, so it strengthens off of bad data, or because it's like typical fundamentals are out the window a little bit?
Yeah,
aren't they?
it's tricky. That would be tricky again. It's just like remember what we had when we had the trade war side of things as well. It's like, do you buy dollar as a safe haven, or do you dump it because they're in a war with the second largest economy in the world? I don't know. So that'd be interesting anyway.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Man, well, it's going to be a busy week anyway next week. So
it is.
Let's have our seatbelts still fully fastened, baby. Whoa! And
we will.
That's it, Joe. Rest up well, and we'll speak soon.
We will. I'll see you later, mate.
Man.